Everything you think you know about Gandalf's power is a carefully constructed lie. For 3 parts, we've explored his nature as a Maya, his mission as an Istari, and his epic struggles. But in this final chapter, we uncover the single, devastating limitation placed upon him. A restriction so profound, it nearly doomed Middle-earth to darkness. And the proof is in the one being he was utterly forbidden to confront. Welcome back. This is Gandalf Explained, Part 4. We've seen him face Balrogs, outwit Sauron, and defy Saruman. But his true test wasn't about what power he could wield. It was about what power he was commanded to withhold. Today, we reveal the sacred chains on the Grey Pilgrim and how his greatest act of wisdom was knowing when not to act. To understand this, we must return to the very beginning of his mission. The 5 wizards, the Istari, were not sent as conquerors or kings. They were emissaries, guides. Their weapons were counsel, encouragement, and subtle influence. The Valar, fearing a repeat of their own catastrophic wars with Morgoth, imposed the White Council's greatest rule. The Istari were forbidden to match power with power. They could not seek to dominate the free peoples, nor could they openly challenge Sauron with their native angelic might. Their job was to inspire others to do it. Think about that burden. Gandalf possessed the latent power of a being who helped sing the world into existence, and he had to keep it locked away, manifesting only as wisdom, a commanding presence, and a few clever fireworks. We see this restraint everywhere. In Moria against the Balrog, he finally unleashes his full power. But note, only in defense, to save the Fellowship. He doesn't go hunting Balrogs. At Minas Tirith, he doesn't single-handedly sweep the armies of Mordor from the field. He leads, he defends the gate, but the battle is won by the courage of men. His restraint is the program, but here's where everything falls apart. What about the one place in Middle-earth where all power, even his, seemed to have no effect? The one being whose very existence mocked the concept of domination. I'm talking, of course, about Tom Bombadil, the eternal enigma. When Frodo puts on the one ring in Tom's house, Tom doesn't vanish. He sees Frodo clearly. He even makes the ring itself vanish, playing with it like a trinket. At the Council of Elrond, when the wise are debating what to do with the ring, someone suggests giving it to Tom Bombadil. Elrond and Gandalf immediately reject this. Gandalf says Tom would find it fascinating, but he would eventually forget it, or throw it away. Tom is a being of such utter, unique nature that the ring's power of domination is meaningless to him. But, and this is critical, Gandalf also states that Tom could not protect the ring from Sauron in the long run. Tom's power is in his own domain, but it is not a power of conquest. Now, hold that thought, because the real conflict emerges with another being, one far more dangerous and directly opposed to Sauron. The Witch King of Angmar, the Lord of the Nazgul, Sauron's deadliest servant. In the extended lore, there is a prophecy. Not by the hand of man shall he fall. And we know how that ends, with Éowyn, a woman, and Merry, a hobbit, striking the fatal blows. But throughout the War of the Ring, Gandalf repeatedly faces the Witch King. At the gates of Minas Tirith, they have a legendary standoff. The Witch King breaks Gandalf's staff in the film adaptation, but in the book, their confrontation is interrupted by the Rohirrim's arrival. The question screams at us: could Gandalf have destroyed the Witch King? This is our twist. What nobody realized was that Gandalf, especially as Gandalf the White, likely could have defeated the Witch King in direct combat. He was a Maya. The Witch King was a corrupted man. The power disparity is immense. But he almost certainly was forbidden from doing so. Why? Because it would have been matching power with power. It would have been an Istari directly using his angelic force to decapitate Sauron's military command. His mission was to enable others to achieve their own victory. His job was to instill courage in Theoden, to guide Aragorn, to protect Frodo and Sam, not to become the one-man army that wins the war. If Gandalf had personally slain the Witch King, he would have overstepped his mandate as an Istar. He would have become a power player, not a guide. This brings us to the deepest layer. Gandalf's true nemesis was never the Balrog, or the Witch King, or even Sauron. His true nemesis was his own nature. The temptation to use his full power to fix everything. We see this temptation triumph in Saruman, who abandons his mission to seek power for himself. Gandalf's entire arc is a struggle against this. His death and rebirth as Gandalf the White isn't just a power-up, it's a clarification. The Council's restrictions are lifted somewhat. He is now explicitly tasked with leading the opposition to Sauron. But the core principle remains. He must not do for men, elves and hobbits what they must do for themselves. So we arrive at the second, more profound conflict. If Gandalf is so restrained, what was he really doing? His mission was a psychological and spiritual one. Look at his actions. He doesn't kill Gollum. He pities him, knowing Gollum has a role to play. He doesn't take the ring from Frodo. He trusts a hobbit's resilience. He doesn't command Aragorn to claim the throne. He helps him find the self-belief to do it. Even with Galadriel, he doesn't confront her about her temptation. He works alongside her, knowing she must face her own test. Gandalf's battlefield was the heart. His weapons were hope, trust, and sacrifice. And suddenly, it all makes sense. The climax of Gandalf's story isn't the duel with the Balrog or the stand at the gate. It's a quiet moment on the slopes of Mount Doom. Samwise Gamgee, carrying his master, believes all hope is lost, and he thinks, I wonder what sort of a tale we've fallen into. He remembers the stories of Gandalf and Beren and the great legends, and he realizes, why, to think of it, we're in the same tale still. It's going on. This is Gandalf's ultimate victory. He didn't just organize a military victory, he succeeded in his divine mission. He made the people of Middle-earth believe in their own story. He turned a gardener into a hero who understands mythic truth. He inspired the creatures of a fading age to stand up and cast down a godlike tyrant themselves. So, the resolution. Gandalf's true nature was that of a teacher. His greatest power was restraint, and his mission was not to defeat Sauron, but to make Sauron's defeat possible by the hands of the humble. He was the spark, not the fire. The guide, not the warrior. He shepherded the free peoples to their moment of courage, and then he left. His work was done. The age of men could begin, not because a wizard ruled them, but because he showed them they could rule themselves. If this deep dive into the heart of Middle-earth's greatest guide changed how you see his struggle, then your journey isn't over. Subscribe and hit the bell for more lore breakdowns that go beyond the surface. What character should we explore with this same intensity next? Let me know in the comments. Until then, remember, Even the smallest act of courage can change the world. But sometimes, the greatest act of power is choosing not to use it. Thanks for watching.